Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Today we're going to be doing a webinar when we're proud and glad to have and honored to have Chris Watson and Jason Hennessy give us a presentation today on how to get on Google Places, the first page of Google. And it has changed in the last 30, 60 days. So everybody that's here, it's a good thing because that's the quickest way to get on the first page of Google is on Google Plus Places now. You got to go to Google Plus. So without further ado, Chris and Jason, you guys take it away, and you tell a little bit about yourself and your company if you want to before you get started.
Hey, thanks, Ken. Hey, everybody. This is Chris. Jason, you there?
I am here. Hello, everybody.
You sound like you're in a tunnel, buddy. Hey, can you see my screen?
I see a black. I see it's black right now, but yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Let me.
I see it now.
Okay. Huh.
Go.
So I can't really. You'll excuse us. We'll get started in just a second. For some reason, when I hit play, it turns the screen to black. So that's black now, huh?
Yeah. So you might just have to kind of just do it from from the presentation. There you go.
Gotcha. All right. So hey, everyone. This is Chris Watson and Jason Hennessy. We're with a company called EverSpark Interactive. We're an Atlanta full-service internet marketing company. We specialize in legal marketing. We may have met some of you at the Pilmma show in New Orleans a couple months ago. That was a great show. It was the first time we really stepped into the personal injury space. It was through a few of our clients who worked in personal injury who said, you guys have got to go to the show. It's like the thing in personal injury. We were thrilled to go, and it really opened our eyes to a lot of things that are happening in the personal injury space. We've had a lot of success with criminal attorneys. We've had a lot of success with DUI attorneys, and a lot of things are just the same when you're ranking a DUI site as ranking a personal injury site. Some of our accomplishments is that we've been able to top rank, and we did it in a very short period of time for BP oil spill lawyer. We got to the #1 spot for that keyword. I think it was in about, what was it, Jay, 7 weeks or something like that. Sorry, 14 days or something like that. It was really, really short.
Yeah. Back when SEO was really easy. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. SEO was really easy. Jason and I have been studying, and our group here at EverSpark, most of us have been studying the algorithm for upwards of 10 years. As Ken alluded to earlier, the changes that have happened in the last year. There was a Panda Farmer update that came out about a year ago, and then to make matters even more complicated, they came out with a Penguin update about, I want to say, 2 months ago, Jason?
The Penguin update, I think, was in April, yeah.
Yeah, 2 or 3 months ago. And the combination of those two things has made SEO harder than ever before. But the silver lining is that it also makes the rewards much greater than before, because if you really know what you're doing, you're going to be able to outflank people. So without further ado, Jason, do you want to add anything before we get started into this?
No, again, we want to thank you all for coming. As our thank you, we're also going to be sending along, as Chris mentioned earlier, we put together a very thorough video that talks about the algorithm updates that happened in the past 10 years. That's in pretty easy layman's terms, easy to understand. So as our thank you, immediately following this webinar, we're going to be sending that video to everybody that's on this webinar. So thanks again for joining us.
Yep, cool. All right, so this is about Google Plus Local. As you all know, you're all attorneys, so you know that getting your picture up on Google Plus in the A position is sort of the holy grail of internet marketing. Can't tell you how many times we get hired and lawyers just say, that's what I want. Like, how do you do that? And so that's what we're going to be discussing today, and trying to sort of walk you through the steps. There's certain tenets, there's certain basics that you just have to adhere by, and some of this is going to, I've tried to make the whole thing non-techy, right? So at the very end, we're going to talk to you about a little snippet of code, but this is more about, okay, you're either working with a firm, an SEO firm, or a marketing agency, and maybe they need a little bit of help with it, or you're just doing it yourself. A lot of attorneys tend to do these kind of things themselves, and you'll get wrapped around going in circles trying to work out what's real and what's not real, and so we're just trying to make it clear and concise and easy for you to follow. So hope we achieve that objective. The 10 rules of Google Plus are these. So the first one is that there's a one phone number per listing rule. That is by far the most important rule, and it's also the one that whenever there's problems, that tends to be the thing that messes people up. And there's a myriad of reasons as to why people do it. They often don't even know they're doing it. For instance, you may have had someone, Google Places is not hard to set up. It's really easy. So often what will happen is that an office manager or someone will think they're doing you a favor and see this thing or read a piece and say, oh, we can get one of those for our firm. They'll go ahead and do it just thinking they're helping out, and lo and behold, they've stifled the entire progress, and it's not until you know how to dig down on that stuff to find out if you do have the second thing, which is roadblocks, and how to clear those out in order to get a clean shot. So we'll be covering the one phone number per listing rule, clearing out the old listings or the bad listings or the ones you want to get rid of. And also part of those first two pieces is what we've seen recently with Google is that they're splitting out reviews. So you might have 25 reviews, and then the next day it's down to 12, and you're scratching your head wondering where did those reviews go. What is generally happening is that they're either reinstating an old listing and dividing those reviews up into two different listings, or they're just putting it into another existing listing. The point is that there's a way to get, or at least attempt to get, all those listings back, and that's kind of a fairly hardcore area, but I'm gonna try to tackle it, and I hope it makes sense.
Chris,
no keyword stuffing, proper categories. Yeah.
Chris, I was just going to say, before you go any further, right now we're building out this webinar assuming that you already have claimed your Google Places listing, Google Plus Local listing. However, if this is just language that you've never heard before, what we're referring to is now called Google Plus Local. They kind of merged everything together. And if you haven't yet already claimed your listing, you can do so just by setting up a Google account and then going in and claiming your page. There's a very good chance that you already have a position, a Google Plus Local account that you might not have ownership of yet. So I would encourage you to find that by doing a search for your phone number and then just going in and claiming your listing if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, and I'm going to get a bit more specific about that process. Everything kind of revolves around Gmail, right? So the very first thing people should be doing is setting up a Gmail account, and then it's in that Gmail setup that you start the actual process of Google+. So everything needs to be reading from the same account, right? Or at least that's preferable. There's other ways to do it, but the best way to do it is to have one Gmail account that is associated with your Google Places listing and your Google+, which is all now Google+ Local. So, the no keyword stuffing. A lot of attorneys, what they'll do is they'll get into their listing and they will put in, it allows you to put different categories in there, and they'll put, 25 different. And they think that's awesome. We'll put in, the name of their city plus the keywords and all these different variations. That's not the right thing to do. There's a way to do it the right way. We're going to talk about that. Making your listing complete. So there's, you have to flesh it out. You have to have a full listing to be competitive. It's kind of a no-brainer, but little things like when you put images up, don't just put it as a file that you put up. Actually name the file. Whatever keyword you're going after, if it's Los Angeles personal injury lawyer, name that image, Los Angeles personal injury lawyer, and it all goes to the credibility and what Google sees as being authoritative in your space. Then building out the popularity of your listing using citations. Citation building is an art unto itself, and there's specific tools you can use to build your citations and find out what citations that you should be building. The directories you should be in. All of this goes towards your Google Places, Google Plus Local listing. Organic SEO is a topic that is enormous. What we're saying here is that if you're on page 3, you're not going to get into the A, B, or C position just because you set up your Google Places listing, even if you have everything set up the right way, even if you have more citations and reviews than everybody else. So there's this whole world of organic SEO, and all I mean by organic is the stuff that's not in the paid search. It's not on the PPC side. It's in the middle. So unless you can get your rankings moving in that direction, then you're not going to be able to rank in the top spots. The best way to do that, SEO is really broken into two pieces, right? There's relevance, which has to do with an individual page, right? And that page and how Google perceives that page, right? So they want to see that you are the authority for that keyword, or at least you have content that is relevant to that keyword, and that's good, strong content. They want to see you as an educator, right? So you really should go away from styles of writing that have to do with salesmanship or styles of writing that have to do with opportunism. It's why a lot of affiliate marketers are struggling out there, because that's nothing but opportunism in most cases, so Google doesn't like that. So when we talk about SEO, the first part is popularity, and the first part is relevance, which is your page, and then the second part is the popularity of that page. And the way you build popularity is usually by building links and having a link strategy. So we could talk for 3 days about organic SEO and link building and different methodologies. Jason's one of the best in the world at that. I'm going to let him tackle that when we get to it, but know that none of this is a silver bullet. One thing builds on the next thing, and if you're missing that piece of SEO, you can spend a lot of time doing these things right, only to fall flat. So I'd advise you to listen up to what he has to say about that. Reviews, a lot of questions we get from lawyers are reviews important? And if they are, how do you get them? So we're going to be covering that. So, and then the next thing is setting up Google Plus profile and linking it up with your site. Google Plus is awesome. The cool thing about it is that the popular concept or popular comment out there about Google Plus is that it's Google's answer to Facebook, and it is, but from a search engine optimization and a search marketing perspective, it's so much more, because what it's doing, it's finally giving the authority to authors, right? So if you own a site, you're an author, and every single page of that site should be connected to you as the author. Equally, every blog post you write should be connected to you as an author. So get out of the realm of thinking, okay, I understand Google Plus and it's something to do with circles. Yeah, it is something to do with circles, but that's not the side of it that really excites us. That side of it has more to do with competing with Facebook. If you go onto Facebook and you post something, 10 times every hour, that's really not going to affect your rankings on Google, right? So it's really the thing that excites us is the relationship that Google Plus has with your organic rankings. So we'll get into that. So without further ado, let's talk about this. I hope everyone can see this. So the one phone number listing, I'm just using, I didn't want to use any lawyer examples for obvious reasons, so we're going to use an example of an Atlanta florist. If you go into Google right now and type in Atlanta florist, you'll see all these results, and maps and what have you. And our question is, where is Maud Baker? Maud Baker, the Atlanta florist, not that they're noteworthy, I don't know who they are, but and they're not certainly not a client, they're underneath all of the listings. I'm sure it's an all too familiar scenario that many of you are probably experiencing right now. So the question is, why are they not in here? Now I know for a fact, because I've looked into it, that they do have a Google Places listing, right? So if they are #1 organically, which is what this is, why aren't they in the A position? Well, when you dig down further, you look into their phone number, which is this 404-373 phone number. They're using the same phone number in 2 listings. So these 2 are tripping each other up, and that's called a roadblock. So Maud Baker's, I don't know if they probably don't know that they've done it, but there's a way. And see, notice here that they have 12 reviews here and 2 reviews here. So ideally, what you want to do is get those 2 reviews into there, and that's one of the things we're going to be talking about. Is that making sense, Jason?
Yeah, so I was just going to say, for those that are listening, obviously we just did that example for that Atlanta florist, but if I were you, if I were taking notes, what I would do is I would go to Google. I would, within the search query, I would actually, on the left-hand side of Google, there's an option for you to press more. So it's got web, images, maps. There's an option for you to press more. when you press more, you're going to see a tab for places. Within there, you want to actually do a search for your phone number. You could use quotes, or you don't have to use quotes around it, but do a search for your phone number, and that's how you'll be able to detect this potential roadblock with your law firm.
Well, the way I like to do it, Jay, I don't mean to, to contradict you there, that is a good way to do it. The faster and easier way that I find is that you do the search. So this is just the Google search up here. So then search for that phone number. Click on Maps. I go there. You click on Maps because that's actually going to take you to the actual maps.
Yep.
And show you the instances of actual Google Places duplication.
Yep.
Cool. But Jason's right. So take your phone number, put it in there, hit Maps, and see what comes up. If you have more than one, now I know many of you are probably going to be saying, I do have more than one, but they are using, it's for multiple locations, and what's the rule on that? Again, the rule is one phone number per listing. You can have the same, you can even have the same address. It's not advisable, but you can get away with that. But if you have multiple offices, just make sure you're using a different phone number and assign those phone numbers to the listings, and it should be fine. Okay. So let's talk about clearing out the roadblocks. Say that is your instance and you got to get rid of this stuff. So the first thing you got to do is you got to create or use your existing Gmail account, which Jason was saying before. You might already have one. If you don't have one, then you need to set one up. Best place to start is to set up a Gmail account. So log into Google Plus Local, then you nominate the phone number to use, and I'm going to walk you through that. You order a postcard. Sometimes it will let you verify using a phone verification. Kind of lucky if that happens, and if it happens, it means you don't have to wait the 10 to 14 days for a postcard to show up. But when the postcard does show up, it'll give you a PIN number, and that PIN number will give you the access to the actual listing. Now, if you're going to be merging the two listings, what you want to do, now I'm going to go back to this example again. So if Maud Baker has these two listings, and they want these reviews to go into here, what I like about these two listings is that they are identical. So meaning the dashes are in exactly the same spot. They haven't put Avenue, they put Ave for both of them. Right? They haven't put Georgia, they put GA. Everything is exactly the same. So that's an identical listing for the most part. I wouldn't worry too much about the photos and the images, but what I'm saying with if merging the two, if you want those two to merge into one, then you have to duplicate the content of the listing. So you have to make it, try to make it as identical as possible. So imagine you've got two listings out there, one of them sucking some of the reviews away, you want all those reviews to go into the other one. You're going to have to tell Google that that needs to happen. And so you're going to be filing requests with them, telling them once you've duplicated them and you're happy that they look pretty much identical, then you remove the one that you want to get rid of, essentially merge. You remove that from your account, but you leave it on Map. So it becomes this kind of orphan out there. And I'm going to get into all that, so don't feel like if this part's confusing. Now, if you're merging the two, sorry, Jay.
I was just going to say one of the things. So Chris kind of glossed over a very important part of the of claiming this is he mentioned that sometimes people will set it up as AVE, and then other times you might say Avenue and actually spell it out. It's the same thing with saying suite number, where you actually spell out suite, or if you just put a pound sign, right? So what you want to do is when you set up this places listing and claim it, you want to put it exactly as it is on your website. So if it's on the bottom of your website and it says suite 2875, then actually put suite, S-U-I-T-E 2875, because Google is going to come back and crawl your website and look for a citation, which is just a verification that you're telling the truth. Otherwise, they might go ahead and create another listing for you because they don't understand that suite and pound sign are the same thing.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jay. Just keep in mind everything has to be exactly the same. You're trying to get an A+ in Google Plus Local. So if every little iteration counts, ranking SEO is really is made up of about 220 different variables. Some things are way more important than others, and because the algorithm is always changing, we don't know if next month, because you have a slight variation in your address, that's going to matter, but let's assume that it does. So just every single time you can make everything clean and efficient and easy, then that's going to serve you very well. So once if you're going to be merging two listings, you have to alert Google that they're duplicate, and there's a way to do that, and I'll show you how to do that. But if you're just getting rid of one, so say there's a bad one up there that doesn't, the only reason you merge the two is if you want to save some of those reviews. If you're not worried, if the other one is just a bad one that you just want to get rid of because it's a roadblock, just get rid of it. All right, so you do the same steps. And I'm going to be showing you some screenshots and examples in just a second. But then you remove it from the maps and you remove it from your account. So you just get rid of that entirely. So let's see that in action. So this is Google Plus Local. So the first thing is you want to set up a Gmail account. This is a fake one that we set up. I'm referring to myself as Mike Smith. We can set up as many as we want, but this really becomes sort of the nerve center. So setting this up, it's going to serve the whole process very, very, very well. So we now own lawyerexample@gmail.com, and that becomes kind of the first piece of the puzzle in putting this stuff together the right way. And as I said, setting up your Gmail account, it allows you to create a profile within Gmail. It allows you to put a headshot up in Gmail. It's a significant piece. A lot of people will use another account, so they'll use their own email account to set up a Gmail account. I mean to set up a Google Places account. You can do it that way, but if it's sort of like if Google owns YouTube, do you think you want to put your videos up on YouTube? Of course you would, right? It's that kind of relationship. So Google owning Gmail, everything can speak to the account from the one Gmail account. So it's don't go too fast through this process, right? So wherever it's saying to you, tell us about, fill in your profile a little bit, put your picture up, do it, right? Just make sure that you fill it out as much as you possibly can. And then you go to Google Places, and this step I kind of jumps right into it. So let me show you how I got to here. So again, these are the two listings, and I want to keep one of them or merge them or whatever. But you have to get to this place. The way you get to this place. So let me do what I just did. Log out. So I'm going into Google Places here. I can also go through Google Plus if I wanted to, for the purpose of, I'm trying to do this step by step. Google Plus Local is one place, but the way I like to do it is let's get the Gmail done, then get the Places piece done, and then get the Google Plus stuff done. So I try to do it sequentially like that. So lawyer example. Okay, this is the first thing everyone sees when you go into Google Places. Unless you already have an account, this will be the first thing you see. Or when you need to add a location, this will pop up. So this is the place where we put that phone number, all right? Take that phone number, click there, and put it into here. So all this is doing, I have nothing to do with Maud Baker Florist, obviously. They're not a client, I don't know them. But I can start to go through the process of trying to claim these listings. Right, and it's going to find out that I'm not them soon enough. As soon as they try to verify, I can go in, I can build up their listings, and I can put whatever I want in there. It's not going to change the listing. It sort of goes into this. The old listing stays up there, and then it says, okay, this is what. If I hit edit, I then have the opportunity to edit everything. I can fill it all out. I can put new pictures. I can do whatever I want. But it goes into sort of a holding pen until they can verify that I am, in fact, Maud Baker Florist. And so that's the process you want to go through. So you've got to put your phone number in there, and then you want to claim those listings. Now, if you're trying to just do one listing, it's pretty straightforward stuff. It gets complicated when you're trying to do the merging stuff, but just assume for a moment you're just trying to do the one listing. So let me show you, this is sort of a transition piece where I want to start talking about how to build your listing out the right way. and poor Maud Baker, I'm going to be using their listing as an example. So say you're ABC Lawyers, and say it's the same address. Say you're in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's change the phone number just for the sake of it.
Get rid of Decatur on the street address.
Right. Email address, info at whatever. And then our website. Obviously, you know, when you're doing this part, make sure you do fill in the HTTP. That does matter. Don't just put www. And then a description. You know, every city, every town, every practice area has different nuances depending upon the bar. So just be mindful of not using wording that is, you know, #1 lawyers in San Jose or whatever it is. Just, you know, and also be mindful here of keyword stuffing. Don't put a ton of keywords in here. A lot of attorneys do that. Google will know. You know, you don't have to put San Jose personal injury attorney specializing in personal injury attorney law. The best personal injury attorneys in San Jose. Just give a decent description. You know, you can only make it 200 characters. We do recommend putting some kind of call to action in there, like a phone number or call us today for a free consultation or something like that. And this part here is really important, okay? This is where a lot of people go wrong in terms of keyword stuffing. What they'll do is, as I said before, they'll put every imaginable variation. Personal injury attorney. Now notice how it defaults. You want that one, obviously. And then you can add another category. If I go into personal injury law is also trial. Trial attorney, right? Those are ones that, like for instance, a lot of the DUI work that we've done, we found out recently that Google started to refer to DUI law as criminal law. And all of a sudden, DUI rankings slipped dramatically, or a lot of them did, and they were replaced by criminal law sites because DUI is a subset of criminal law. So this is very telling. What it pre-populates with is extremely telling. Doesn't mean to say you can't add a category, but start with what they pre-populate it with, right? And you're not going to get any more than that. They're very strict about that. And then add one, maybe two more variations. So if you're a personal injury attorney, or maybe Dallas, well, this is Atlanta, isn't it? Atlanta.
Or Atlanta car accident lawyer.
Yeah, there you go.
There, you know, stuff like that, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. That's very important. Obviously, you know, your hours, so on and so forth, your payment. This is the part with the photos, so make sure if you're going to be adding a photo that it doesn't say, you know, just GIF or anything like that. Make sure it actually has a name to the photo that supports what you do. Adding your videos, make sure, you know, even if you have a YouTube video, or if all you have is YouTube video, put it up. If you don't yet have a YouTube video, please get one up there. Video SEO is a totally different topic, and the more you get Jason and I talking about video SEO, you won't get us to shut up. But our rule of thumb with, or our process of video SEO is, where people get it wrong is that they put up a video on YouTube, and then they put it on their page, and then they put it on their Google Places listing, and then it doesn't work, or it doesn't get more clients, and they say video doesn't work. What the pieces that they're missing is that they don't understand syndication, right? So getting that one video and putting it in many different places, not just YouTube, but even more exciting is there's code that can go onto a page that can get a video to appear in the search engines. And if you can combine Google Places with Google Plus with organic SEO, pushing everything up, and you have a piece of video code that supports all that, that doesn't get any better than that. I mean, a video in the position 8 spot on the first page of Google tends to suck all the traffic off the page. People love video. So, and why you want it to go through to your page, and I know I'm going off topic here, why you want to go through to your page is that you don't want them to have to go through to YouTube and then come to your site. So there's a way to do it so that your video appears in search rankings going through to your site as opposed to YouTube. But I'm getting off topic. Do not keyword stuff down here. This is where we see a lot of attorneys throwing in, like they think they're clever and they'll put personal injury Los Angeles or whatever, Atlanta. And they think, oh, that's great, it's adding stuff. You can put down here just a few things, maybe some accomplishments, any awards you've been given, but don't, keep it easy. Just don't look like you're trying to game the system. And then once that's all done, you hit submit. What did I do?
You have Decatur in the street address with the zip code twice.
Oh, right. Thanks, Jay.
They just got to remove it. Yep.
I'm kind of whizzing through this. I would normally take, 20 minutes, half an hour to do the whole thing the right way. And now it's saying, okay, if you really are ABC Lawyers at that address, if you really are Mike Smith, we're going to send you this postcard, and that's either going to end up at that address or it's not. And if it doesn't, so therefore I've done no harm to the florist, right, by doing this. All their stuff is still live. Nothing's been touched. It's just until I can get that postcard and claim it, everything else just stays as it is. And now I'm not going to go ahead and process that because Maud will be wondering why she's getting a postcard for ABC Lawyers to Mike Smith. All right, so let's get back onto the PowerPoint now. All right, so the listing's set up, and what you now want to do is build citations. Actually, before I get into this piece, let me just cover how to tell Google that you want to merge the two listings. It's really quite simple. All you do is you go back in here to where the maps is, remembering that we put the phone number in here and we see that there's two. If you want these reviews, again, this is assuming that both of these listings are almost identical. If they're not, then go in, and that whole process that I just showed you of going in and grabbing it and then getting the postcard, if it's for some of these orphan ones that are getting in the way, that's called reclaiming, right? So you're reclaiming your listing, and you're saying, okay, you're going to bring all your kids back in and put them into one pen, and then you're going to decide which ones you you farm out and get rid of, because we do that so often. We farm out and get rid of our kids, don't we? So we're trying to get these reviews into here. So the way to do that is you have to go into, click on the reviews part, and notice here where it says edit business listing. Again, keeping in mind, I don't have control of these two listings. I'm just someone from the public. I can click edit business details. And then down here it says this is a duplicate listing and some photos, reviews, or details belong to a different place, right? This is the one you want to click. And then you explain to them that this listing is a duplicate of, and what and I know I'm jumping around a little bit. Prior to going to that to that place I went to, go into this listing and grab the URL. Okay, so grab this, and I want to say this is a duplicate listing of this. Can you please move their reviews over to the main listing? Now, then you just hit submit. This is why you take the bad listing out of your account, but you leave it live on the internet. All right. So when you're in your Google Places account and you have one set up, you have a way to, and it'll say delete, and you can hit delete. Then a screen will pop up and say, do you want to remove this from your account, or do you want to remove this from the internet? So if this is the process you're going through, you just want to remove it from your account. So you don't want both of those in your account. That's going to mess Google up. But they do want to see the instance of it still out there on the internet, so leave that piece up. Again, if all you want to do is get rid of it, hit delete and hit remove it from my account, and then it'll take you back to your account, then hit delete again, it'll say remove it from the internet, so you do those two things and it's gone. So I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of hard to follow the bouncing ball a little bit, but that's the process. All right, so let's talk about citations. Remember before I was talking about how SEO is about your popularity of your page and relevant content, being an educator, not a salesman, and then relevancy of the page and then popularity of the page. A Google Places listing is the relevance part of it comes in how you're setting that listing up, what we just walked through. The popularity of that listing comes in the form of citations. So citations is their way of saying, okay, you are who you say you are. You do reside at that address, because there's no way you would commit to so many citations. It's essentially other people telling Google that you're telling the truth about who you are, where you are, and what your phone number is. And the first place they check, as Jason mentioned before, is your website. So that's the first citation. So make sure it's exactly the same address, exactly the same phone number. Pretty standard stuff. And then they look for additional confirmation. And this is where citation building gets, interesting. The one place we love is called Yext. Y-E-X-T, I think it's a .com. What this does is it auto-populates, I think it's now anywhere from 35 to 38 citation listings, so things like super pages and Yahoo and Yelp and Yellow Book and all those things you see there. It's great because it allows you to manage, and I've taken the redacted the clients, so I don't want to show anyone the clients we're working with, but it allows you to manage all your listings in one spot. So all of a sudden you've got 38 powerful citations with exactly the same content or exactly the same address, phone number, and you name it, all pointing back to your site. This is you telling the truth about who you are. And whenever anything updates, so say you have a change of address, you just have to go to one place and it all changes, and it goes across all 38 sites. It's awesome. I think they just went public, if I'm not mistaken, or got a huge investment or something like that. So we love that because it means that they have a lot more money to make the system even better. When you're in Yext, this is really, really important. You're going to see this tab up here, or this menu up here. Click Places, because if you just fill out your Yext listing and all it does is populate all of the directories, or the citations rather, and you don't fill in the places part, then it doesn't make a connection between your map and the actual listing. So it's a real important piece to get right. And when you're in there, I won't take you step by step, but when you're in there, it's fairly intuitive. It allows you to put much more advanced descriptions of yourself, categories, all that kind of stuff. You'll get the hang of it. I think Yext is $580 a year, something like that. It's not cheap, but it's for what it does. I highly recommend it. The other thing we highly recommend is WhiteSpark, and I'm going to try to do a live example here. WhiteSpark.ca is a really great system where they drill down on search results, on citation results for your industry. Okay, so let's go to a live example now. Those screens there for prompters. We'll get out of this. You do have to have a WhiteSpark account. I can't remember how much it is. I think it's like $199 or something like that. You go into SEO services. Sorry. Ignore that. You go into Local Citation Finder. Click that down here. I mean, it's so weird because it doesn't even look like, you know what I mean? Like it's a wonderful tool for SEOs, but it kind of, I always get thrown by their homepage. I always think, these guys are like a fashion branding company or something. But anyway, go to Local Citation Finder. I got to log in first. Probably going to be showing all of some of our clients here. I hope not. You fill all this in. So you select your country. You select, assume we're in California, Los Angeles, and you are a personal injury attorney. Okay. Now it will ask you select your final search phrase, personal injury attorney Los Angeles. Nah, not really. I'd more prefer Los Angeles personal injury attorney. Okay. Don't really worry about project, and then you do a search. And now it's starting to grind through and citation has been added to your process queue. Okay. Results are pending here. So let me go. I'll show you some ones that we've done before. Syracuse, no. I don't want to show you any stuff that's from existing clients of ours. So I'll wait for this to to generate. But here you go. You can get a sense of this one. So let's say we're doing something for Atlanta, a data center. Okay. And these are just the ones that I do. Like all of our account managers have their own Yext account or their own WhiteSpark account. So it's a lot bigger. So what we're seeing here is these are all of the citations that the top ranking companies have for that keyword. Okay. So if you can imagine this was for Los Angeles personal injury attorney, or if you can imagine it's for Boston personal injury attorney, whatever business you're in, whatever market you're in, this is going to generate a report that's going to say, okay, this company ranks #1 for that keyword, and these are all of their citations. They have 20 of them. These ones here have 109. Now, one would think, well, if they have 109, how come they're not #1? Well, there's probably a good chance there's a whole bunch of other stuff they haven't done right. Again, remembering what I said before, SEO is about 220 pieces, or some weeks 300. Not all things are equal, but if you want to have a good shot at competing with these people from a citation perspective, all you have to do is export the CSV. So for right now, we can look at it this way. And we know the #1 ranking site has got citations on super pages, on yellow pages, 1, 2, 3 people, IAF, switchboard, all those ones. So a large part of being competitive on the internet is duplicating or being able to reverse engineer what other people are doing, right? So if they're ranking #1, there's a reason. Part of the reason is they have these kind of citations, so you may as well go out and get them yourself. So that's why WhiteSpark is fantastic. So if you can do that for that one, download all of them, right? Export the CSV for everything. So now you can build citations for all of these instead of just the 20.
Hey, Chris.
Jason, you want to add anything to the citation part?
No, I think the citations, I mean, this is in itself, it's a separate algorithm that Google kind of follows for this places. It's all about basically verifying that you are at that physical address, and therefore, the more citations that you have, the more reviews you have, and then obviously the more blended organic SEO links that you have back to your site, it's all kind of gets combined together, and that's kind of why you see people in the A position for competitive keywords. I just wanted to throw something out there, though. It is 4:43. What time do we have a hard stop at for this webinar?
I was going to go to 5, so good point. At the end, we'll be taking questions, so we've probably got about another 17 minutes.
Okay, great.
Cool. All right, so another piece of the puzzle here is directories. There are about 48 free directories that, again, this is more about, this lends itself to standard SEO, but it's also very relevant to citation building. So directory is another citation. These are the ones we recommend. You go in, Angie's List, Bing, City, Slick, etc. If you want the full list of 48, shoot us an email and we'll get something over to you, or we can talk to you about how to do it. And then there's paid directories, right? So the ones that, there's about 30 of them that we really, really like. The ones that are on the top of our pile are Attorney Find, hg.org, yahoo.com, aboutus.org, bestoftheweb.org.
Can I explain this here? So, so this is really, really important because this is something that we spend a lot of our time reverse engineering websites, legal websites, personal injury sites, DUI sites, all types of different legal sites. And what we've done is, in doing this for the past 3 or 4 years now, working with lawyers, is we've put together a very, very thorough list of sites that you want to be listed on. This is just a very small example here based on PageRank. So hg.org is a great place. the Yahoo directory listing, best of the web. But obviously there's a lot more to this, and we unfortunately couldn't put it on onto this one slide. But again, this comes as a result of reverse engineering the sites that are ranking organically in the #1 positions for various extremely competitive keywords, and basically then building a strategy based around that. So this is just a small example of that.
Yep. All right. So again, like I said before, you can't be buried on page 3. Set up your Google Plus local profile and place this listing and expect to start to top rank. It just doesn't work that way. So let's talk a little bit about top ranking. Content is important. One of the things that drives us crazy over here is when we hear time and time again, content is king, content is king. Yes, it's important, but put it in its place. Understand where it sits at the table. It sits over here as far as relevance is concerned. Unless that content is popular, Google's not going to pay any attention to you. So when it comes to link building, I mentioned earlier, Jason has been devising systems and building platforms, and ever since I've known him, and is one of the very best at what this side of the world consists of, which is off-page SEO. Now, again, we don't have a whole lot of time. The Google Penguin update changed link building forever. The one that hit 3 months ago, we had to redo our entire systems to accommodate for Google Penguin, and it's been hard, but I'm fairly certain we've gotten it. We're seeing the results. I'm not trying to pitch this. I'm just saying that it takes that type of intensive brain power staring at it to really get it. So to sit here and say, so just go and build some links, that's not going to serve you at all. But there's some basic principles you just got to get your head around in order to build the right kind of links. So Jay, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I guess one of the biggest nuggets that I can give everybody on this call with regards to link building and the most recent algorithmic update is historically when you were building links, and I've sat in Pilmma and I've listened to speakers, and in the past it was very true, right? All too often it's been preached that you want to have a lot of links. You want to obviously go out and get a lot of links. Now, and you want to make sure that the link has your keyword that you're trying to target as the anchor text. So in the blue underlined link on the page, you're going to have it say, Dallas personal injury lawyer, Dallas personal injury lawyer, Dallas personal injury lawyer, right? And in the past, that pushed you up on Google because the more links you have, the more popular you're becoming. Obviously, you've got a vote of confidence now, and now Google's going to put you up for a Dallas personal injury lawyer, and you'll rank very high for that. Well, because of this update, a lot of that has changed now, and Google is looking and ranking websites now that have more of a natural link building. Link graph is what the term that we use. It's called a link graph. Every website has a link graph, and Google obviously crawls the web and it studies every single link that's coming back to your website. And there's certain tools that you can use to discover these type of links. One is Open Site Explorer. OpenSiteExplorer.com, you can go there and you can put your URL in there and it'll actually show you some of the links that you have coming back. But if I can just give you one nugget to take away with regards to link building, do not hire link builders from India, from Philippines. That stuff used to work, but now because of this update, that's going to do more harm than good to your websites. You want natural links, you want organic links, and you want the anchor text to say things like your first and last name or the name of your business or even just your URL. So, you want it to seem more natural than fabricated. So that's very important. Find a partner that's going to be building links for you, but not jeopardizing your site and putting into a position where it potentially could get penalized from Google.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk about reviews. We've got 11 minutes left. So are they important and how do you get them? This is a big topic, and the fact of the matter is that it depends on what market that you're in. So when we're talking about reviews, we're talking about the reviews here. If you have 35 reviews and they're all good reviews, even if it doesn't affect your ranking, it's still just a great thing, right, from a conversion perspective. But when we look into markets, specific markets, for instance, Los Angeles, personal injury, they seem to matter a lot, meaning that these are the top ranking sites for Los Angeles personal injury lawyer, or a variation of a number of keywords for Los Angeles personal injury law related terms. And we have what's called a visibility score. So this, people get scored if they rank #1 a number of times. They get X number of points. If they're on the first page, they get X number of points. So the most visible two firms, it appears as though these guys do have the most number of reviews, and these guys are a close second. It drops off for this one, so maybe there's a few anomalies with that one, and then it seems to peter off. So if you're in Los Angeles, reviews seem to matter.
And this is a if you're going to look for this tool doesn't exist. This is a proprietary tool that we use internally here.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to make a point about, you know, specific examples of where it does and doesn't matter. So if you're in Philadelphia, it seems to be hit and miss. The #1 company with the highest visibility doesn't have hardly any reviews, but the #2, you know, they've got, it looks like maybe 13 or something. These guys over here have got the most, which is 17, and they're sort of buried on page 2. If you're in Chicago, it's flatlined, right? So this is where these blanket statements like you got to have reviews, it affects ranking. Well, what market are you in? You have to look at it. Does that mean that we're saying don't do it? Nope, it's worth it, because if it's only for conversion only. So the question is, how do you get those reviews? What's the easiest way to get them? I love the system. It's simple. It's a little bit crude, but and we get nothing out of this. We like to use it because it makes sense. So you tend to have to ask your clients for reviews, right? Your clients need to be logged into their Google accounts, their Gmail accounts first. You can't leave a review unless you have a Gmail account. And this system that Local Visibility Systems have devised, I think, is really simple and just makes a lot of sense. For, I think it's $20, you can get them to create one of these, right? Again, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's just so simple. It's a PDF, right? So they put your logo there, they put your contact information there, they put the header asking for a review, so you can now send this out. You can have it live on your site. You can send it out to your client base. You can blast everybody. There's a QR code that they can scan if they just want to do it from their phone. You know, the firms that we've worked with that have used this, they cringe a little bit at the graphic design or lack thereof, but they end up getting, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30, even more reviews, and it's a simple, straightforward way to do it.
And you have to be careful, because I know some, and I guess maybe in most places, you really can't ask for a review. So I mean, there's some kind of ethic rules and stuff like that. But this is the way to kind of generate the reviews. So.
Yeah, right. If it is permissible.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk now about setting. Remember, I was saying before, do Gmail first, then Places, and then start to get your Google Plus local business page set up. So the first thing you want to do is go back here, and you're going to want to log into Google Plus, so plus.google.com, and you want to hover over More, okay? And again, we're recording this, so we're going to put this up on your site so people can get more familiar with all this stuff and maybe spend some time staring at this stuff.
Okay.
Then you're going to want to click Create New Page. Again, it's really simple, but this is the beginning of them saying, okay, are you already in the game, or is this brand new? And then it's going to say select your business, right? Remember, you already set this piece up. So when you click that and select that phone number that you're using, you've already set it up. So then you can nominate that's the one that you want to select. So now these two are going to be merged together. Then include your business basics, phone number, or it already has phone number, address, so on and so forth. So it's really quite straightforward, but here's the piece that is really important. I mean, all that stuff's important, but you need, remember what I was saying before, that Google Plus is about authorship. And stop thinking of yourself as a site owner and start thinking of yourself as an author. You are the author of every single page of your site. And if you're working with a system that doesn't allow you to be the author of every page of your site, get out of that system. Meaning if they own the content and never let you ever put your name to it, if they don't give you access to your site to add content, that's really clunky. You want the freedom to say, this piece of content is me. It represents me, and that goes for your site, that goes for your blog, that goes for everything. And then if you ever do part ways, that content's yours. It drives us insane. The systems out there that okay, you pay them $10,000 a month or whatever it is, $5,000, $2,000 a month, and at the end of it, no. That's all ours over here. That's just so wrong, I can't even begin to tell you. But this piece is important. This is techie. So what you're going to want to do is you want to use this code, this specific code, in your header tag. Okay, it's the same code for everybody, and there's a place within your code on your site that is called an H1 tag. You put this piece of code here into your header tag, and that spreads across your entire site. Now your site has a relationship with Google+. This is how your picture starts to appear. Okay, so if that site starts to rank and it has a relationship to where your picture is, and your picture was originally generated by your Gmail setup, and it's all supported by the same address, same phone number. Again, it's an orchestra. Everything has to be sort of working in unison. That's when your picture starts to show up. So to go back to the very beginning, why does that guy have his picture at the top for Los Angeles Personal Injury Authority? He's got this piece of code, but prior to getting the piece of code, he had all those other pieces working in unison. And that's about it. If you have any other questions, please reach out to us, VIP@eversparkinteractive.com, or call us on this number here, 404-313-7076. And I think we've got some time to take a few questions. So if you do have any questions, there should be a part of the webinar that allows you to ask questions. And all you do is type questions into the panel.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, while we're maybe waiting for a few questions, we are going to be at Pilmma in Las Vegas with most everybody on this call. We're excited about that. Our email address is up there. It's VIP@eversparkinteractive.com. We're going to be doing site reviews during some of the breaks, so if you'd like us to maybe take a look at your site during one of the breaks, you could just send us an email and just provide us with the site so that we have it with your contact details. We'd be happy to look at that. Also, if you have issues with any of your Google Places, if you have duplicate listings, if you just can't seem to get this to work, we'd be happy to kind of hop on a call with you to kind of walk you through this stuff on a more personal basis too. So.
Yeah, and this is something else for the summit. Tomorrow's the last day. The room block is over tomorrow, so if you are listening to this and have not booked your rooms, they go from $239 to $399. So book them today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, I think you guys did such a great job. You see any questions?
Yeah, there's a few questions here.
Okay.
Jenna's got a few. So Jenna's asking, what if we have several different office locations with the same 888 number? That's a great question. You want to change that. So you can keep the 888 number on your site. So you don't have to take any of that off. What you do have to do, though, is that 888 number, first off, Google doesn't like 888 numbers when it comes to places, right? They want to see a local number. Very rarely will you see a 1-800 number or an 888 number rank in Google Places. So if everything is about a phone number, then you want to have a local number. So keep the 888 number on as many sites as you want, but when it comes to if you have 10 offices, the specific listing themselves, they all have to have different phone numbers. They can have the same address, but as long as they're different phone numbers, that's where you want to be with that.
And you also should include the different office locations maybe on your Contact Us page with the phone numbers so that you can actually verify it on your site too, the different locations and the different phone numbers.
Good point. Good point. All right, Hannah, what have you asked here? Google Places has been reviewing our Google Places account for some time and has not approved it. Should we start over and make other Google Places business place? That happens a lot, Hannah. I hate saying yes, you should start over, because if they're reviewing it, it should be enough. But depends on how long. If it's been a month, I'd probably let it go for maybe 2 more weeks. Anything over that, it starts to get like and that's part of the frustrating thing is there's no one to talk to. They don't let you do it. So don't think that we have like the secret line to the guys over at Google. It doesn't work that way. I would, if it's been more than 6 weeks, I would start over, start fresh, get rid of that one, clean it all out, and start again, because it's not hurting you now anyway, right? It is hurting you. It's not working, but you're not going to lose anything by way of going through that process again. what else do we have here? Another one from Jenna. They also have different local numbers as well. Okay, well, so you have different local numbers. Make sure that local number is in your contacts on your site, and then set up individual local listings in Google Places. That was a follow-up to Jenna's question before. Okay, so Bethany, you've asked, hi, I typed our number into Google, and our firm has 3 listings, A, B, and C. But 2 of them have plusgoogle.com as the website. Do we need to merge, get rid of the B and C listings? I'd have to look at it in order to make a comment about that. So why don't, Bethany, why don't you shoot me your details, and I'll get on the phone with you, and we'll have a look together. And I just don't want to give you bad advice. It could be 1 of 7 different things. Until I look at that, I really couldn't be able to tell you. And Toby, would it be possible to get a copy of your PowerPoint presentation by email? Yeah, just reach out to us by email, and anything you need from us. You know, we do work with a lot of lawyers, so if we're already working with a law firm in your city, everyone can have the video. Everyone can have a copy of this PowerPoint. But if we start talking and we find out that, you know, we're already working with someone, like in New York, we already have a personal injury law firm that we work with. There's about, I think, 7 or 8 different personal injury lawyers around America that we work with. So again, please don't take this as a pitch in any way, shape, or form. Just saying that some stuff we're happy to help with, but there comes a time where we say, actually, I can't go there with you. So we'll find out once you contact us. I think that's about it. Unless Ken and Jason, you have anything else? There's no more questions.
Thank you for everybody's time. We appreciate it, and we look forward to meeting everyone out in Pilmma.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Appreciate your time and the informative information there. That was about as much detail I've ever seen somebody go over Google Plus local. So until next time, this is Ken Hardison, Jason Hennessy, and Chris Watson, dedicated to your success. Take care.
Thanks for having us, Ken. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Yes, sir.